Hi there, Cosmic Family. My name is Yesleal. The moon has just entered in Cancer, which is the previous sign to Leo, where we are going to have the full moon. The moon in Cancer is always this phase of greater emotional contact. It could emerge, topics linked with our childhood, family, the past, memories, because also we have Jupiter retrograde in there and acts as a magnifying glass, and many of these aspects could respond to parts that we need to integrate to embrace in our inner core, because they could be affecting other areas of life. On the other side, I wanted to mention that Uranus in Taurus is going to be direct in a few days, at the beginning of the next week, to close definitely its cycle in this sign. I'm going to talk more about this. I'm going to talk more about this because it is going to have activations and it is part of the next eclipse. But it is important for you to take in account that radical changes are coming, especially in areas where there is this false comfort, where we have adapted ourselves without this true growth. It is about a breaking of old structures, a final breaking. And well, when we talk about Uranus in Taurus, also it is important to take in account the manifestations and physical body, because they are giving us signals of what we need to manage. But I wanted to come back to the full moon, because in the video of Sunday, I was telling you that the sign of Leo, it is very related with the inner child. It is about this inner child that wants to play, actually, that wants also to be seen, recognized, and appreciated for who he or she is. But many times, people could inhabit in this duality between wanting to be seen and at the same time sustaining behaviors or making too much efforts from places that are not being felt authentical, in authenticity. And in the end, this leads us to feel that everything that they are giving or doing, it is not being recognized by other people, because life is going to show us the reflections that we are sustaining inside. And in conjunct, the whole situation, of course, could emphasize the sensation that we don't deserve love or validation from other people. But this is just a perception that we can and that we need to change. And what happens, it is that many of these behaviors in which we are acting according to what we think that others are expecting, in the end, they end up being a mask of protection to not show what we are. In a more profound layer, this happens because there are imbalances or painful experiences that are, that have left these scars and generated this illusory perception that how we are is not enough. So we created these masks to be accepted, that are being born from a non-acceptance of oneself in the first place. And it is important to understand that this could have very, very deep roots. So many times it takes time and processes to observe them. But overall, these are in order to protect us from a possible rejection, abandonment, an external judgment, or other people not approving who we are. Pain, pain in the whole. So it is precisely sustaining ourselves in those kind of spaces what has an origin in a rejection towards oneself. And in many occasions, when we are putting that energy, that much energy and efforts in things not happening, in avoiding that our fears be materialized, instead of focusing on what we want to create, those fears end up manifesting. So we stop to function from the mechanism of protection of the inner child. So authenticity has its risks. I am referring that if we are deciding, expressing how we truly want to do it creatively in our relationships, in purposes in life, many times this could be uncomfortable because requires certain levels of honesty with oneself that are not always pleasant, and of course then with the people of the environment, but also opening up perceptions of recognition of our own qualities and talents. We all have virtues that we can develop more, or intuitions that we can develop those virtues. And also we have aspects that we are in which perhaps we are not that good, or we're not interested in. because they don't have this vibration with the function of the soul. I mean, there are people that don't have vibration with mathematical formulas because its purpose is not there. Their purpose is it's not there. So I'm saying this because I am seeing this a lot. Many times people try to fit in places that are not for them, which could make us feel excluded or that we don't have place to shine. But it is because we still didn't found the correct way to radiate that light. And this is about continuing the seeking and discerning from opportunities that truly has a sense for the soul and opportunities that not. Other thing are the unconscious aspects or the shadow, which are the parts associated to our identity that we are not recognizing yet. And when we are able to observe them, we can turn them even into a resource. For example, a person that is very impulsive when acting and that produces chaos in certain areas of his or her life. When the person starts to make this registration in which moments that action is not contributing and is able to self-regulate, all that energy could turn that person into an initiator, someone that has a lot of strength to move forward. Everything is start to be concentrated in her or his growth, and even opening paths for other people. So coming back to the concept that authenticity has a risk, I am referring that, yeah, this could leads us to face with vulnerability and with the possibility that outside what we are is not appreciated, or even people are projecting and make this deep rejection. But the ones that are going to stay, they are going to stay because of who we are. They are not staying because of the things that can take from us, or because they are depending, or they are needing us in a childish way. They are staying because they truly feel so, and because they can appreciate us. So this gives a space, of course, for the retirement of people that cannot be or accompanying. And then everything that could generate this inner instability on the inside, we can work on that, so our peace and our self-esteem is not constantly depending from other people. Let's remember that I am not using the term authenticity to cover imbalances of the ego, like behaviors that are not respectful, that are crossing boundaries of other people, these supposed forms of honesty that are truly hidden, hiding violence, and that don't have any constructive purpose, or illusions of superiority, like believing better than other people. These are still expressions of low self-esteem, and probably from an inner child that is wounded and that needs to be revealed against something to receive attention, even if it's a negative attention. So I am only talking about adults because children, little children, they don't really have these manipulatory behaviors when they are revealing, or when they are having these tantrums, as it is called. It is because there is a true emotional demand that is not attended, and the adult has to put energy in discovering what the child needs. And if the child is doing that in a frequent way, it is because he or she has understood that is the only way to receive attention from that adult. So as many people in the world experimented this emotional lack, in many areas, because at the same time their parents also experimented this. It takes processes and time to change these cycles, but the important thing is to begin with oneself. So this lunation, with the context of Uranus awakening and the stellium of planets in Aquarius, it is calling us to change forms of being with other people that we don't want to sustain anymore, and that we only perpetuate because we want to be accepted, but they mean rejecting ourselves. It is calling us to break with the fears, to allow ourselves to truly be seen, whether in relationships or in creative expressions that we want to make, and letting go of spaces and perceptions that are turning off our light, that are disconnecting us from the things that are really causing passion in us, and from the freedom that truly has to be born in the inside. I mean, Many times we have to stop demanding on something external this freedom and just impulse that through our decisions. Thank you, everyone. See you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.